It wouldn't be the Halloween season if we didn't have something spooky for Amazon sellers. And what is spookier than seeing that we are going to be implementing some new tariffs against China yet again? My name is Noah Wickham. I'm VP of Sales and Marketing here at My Amazon Guy, and let's talk about this. So, as of yesterday, October 10th, Trump decided to ratchet up US-China trade war, promising new tariffs. He essentially said that starting November 1st, we are going to be imposing a 100% tariff against China on all goods. As a result, the US stock dropped the most since April after Trump's threat. It went down $1 trillion yesterday. However, we actually saw that included in all of this was the aspect of some minerals going up. So people are probably wondering, why is the US rare earth mineral company soaring? That's because this is in direct response to essentially China saying that they are going to start limiting rare earth minerals. So for those that are uninitiated and unaware, essentially China owns roughly 80% of the entire world's distribution of rare earth minerals. And so what do rare earth minerals, what are they used for? Well, a few things primarily. The first and foremost is that they're very, very useful in things such as computer technologies, computer chips, and in part here, AI. Because AI is needing to buy so many different graphics cards, so many computer components right now, and we know that the US is very, very invested in AI right now. So this is, I would say, a huge change comparatively to roughly 90 days ago. And so we're about 3 weeks out, 9 days out, I should say, from the pause on the tariffs that Trump had come to terms with all the way back in July. And so now we're essentially seeing that we're going to be hitting a new high with this 100% increase on Chinese goods. So how are you as an Amazon seller affected? Well, a few different ways here. I think that obviously we're back into the war of tariffs, but something that we have kind of seen over the course of this year play out is this idea of initial outcry of this huge, horrible thing that's going to happen with the US administration saying, we're not even going to play game. The Chinese administration saying, that's fine, don't play game. They don't care. And then closely thereafter, 2-3 weeks after, when the real ramifications start happening, people are changing logistics. Chinese companies are hurting. US companies are hurting. And overall, everything just kind of slows down because people aren't buying as much. They don't want to buy for 100% tariff. They don't want to have to pay that. And so it's a really, really big thing that a lot of people have seen over the course of this year. But then some kind of deal gets brought about. That is why we're currently in this kind of stopgap of just the average 25% that we have. And so I am not going to be a fear monger here saying, hey, watch out, this is horrible. I don't know what you're going to do. I still am going to say the same thing I have said this entire year. We got to sit back and wait. I think it's really hard. Now, a couple of bonuses here is that a lot of people, a lot of Amazon sellers, if you're smart, probably bought enough inventory to get you through most of Q4 and into Q1. However, I think this will greatly affect how people choose to plan out their Black Friday, Cyber Monday deals, just from the aspect of what exactly are they going to have for inventory, when are they going to be buying inventory next, and they likely are going to want to raise prices now versus offering a huge discount promotion during Black Friday to try and just recoup some of that profitability and cash flow for purchasing. And that's realistically why I think I'm going to be almost telling most all of you, as well as most of our clients, is look, this is something that we don't know the future of. We don't know if this is going to stay. If you didn't move your logistics and your manufacturing out of China earlier this year, like I know many sellers did, then yeah, you're going to want to be looking at doing that still. There's no reason that you shouldn't be unless your product can't be made anywhere else. If your product is something that has a component of rare earth minerals, then potentially look at US companies. I don't know if that would be cheaper necessarily, but my point here is that we don't know what the future is going to hold for a lot of these tariffs, and we keep getting into this situation where everyone is just worried, I think, more so than anything. Nobody really understands what that future point is going to be, what it's going to look like at all. And so I very much am encouraging everyone at the end of the day, do what you can to make your business thrive now and into the future. For all we know, 90 days, not even 90 days from now, this is going to yet again go back to what we were. And I very much think that's exactly what's going to end up happening. Honestly, I don't think that come November 1st, China will still have this idea that they're going to limit all of the rare earth minerals throughout the entire world. I also don't think that November 1st is going to come around and we're now going to be seeing a 125% tariff again. I think what will happen with all of this is that there will be, like I said, an initial outcry, an initial slowing of everything, so to speak. Q4 is going to be a little bit lower as far as the sales volume time comparatively to others. People aren't going to offer as many discounts or promotions during Black Friday. That's going to be shown throughout the entire economy, and then eventually somebody is going to say, hey, this is crazy, let's cut a deal of some kind, right? And maybe we end up getting, as far as the US goes, a very special deal with China, because one big massive aspect of all of this is that China is not just threatening to limit the US's ability of having rare earth minerals. China is essentially saying this to the entire world. And again, they own 80% of the entire quantity, so to speak, of rare earth minerals and the entire export of it throughout the world. And so they're trying to just take a hand and take a stance and say, hey, we have this, no one else does. Let's do what we can. I think knowing how interconnected our two economies are at the end of the day, we will strike some form of deal very, very soon here when it comes to these rare earth minerals, and that will then also include the tariffs in general. And so that's one of the big aspects that I think people forget is the bigger picture here, in the sense that, yes, these tariffs really hurt in the very, very short run at the end of the day, but the US and Chinese economies are also very interconnected as well. Now, China has been trying to make this less the case, but we saw, like I said earlier this year, where all of the tariffs that were implemented had a very large impact on Chinese businesses as a whole and logistics. A lot of manufacturers trying to pay for the tariffs so that people still use them, and just Chinese businesses as well as US ones having a really hard time adapting to it. So, nothing new at the end of the day. We've already faced this now twice this year at this point. And so I think it's one of those where, it's the age-old boy cried wolf, right? And so we're going to see, everyone kind of knows how the dance goes at this point in time with tariffs. Now, does anyone really want to have to go through that dance at any point in time, especially Amazon sellers, where fees are already so hefty and everything as is? No, of course not. Now, what would I look at potentially doing here? Well, one thing that we are encouraging pretty much every single one of our Amazon sellers to do right now is also look at opening up direct-to-consumer and Shopify websites. Why? Well, you essentially have just larger margins over there. There's not as many fees involved in opening up your own website and selling direct-to-consumer as there is on Amazon. Your only fee is essentially your cost of goods and your overall marketing expenses. And so it's a really, really big thing where we are telling people to diversify. It will help your business at the end of the day to diversify. You have more areas for potential traffic generation. And on top of that, essentially, we're seeing a massive, massive impact, especially coming into Q4 with people who are launching during this time frame. And so if you are somebody who is looking to diversify, feel free to reach out to us here at My Amazon Guy. Or if you just want us to do a full analysis of your cost of goods, and even maybe look at your logistics manufacturing process and see if we can find anybody outside of China, if this is going to affect you, feel free to reach out to us. More than happy to help you out.